And it's Arcanine PC. We're by far the greatest team that the world has ever seen. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? You can call me Kai Guy. Welcome back to another video here on the channel. If this is your first time here, then welcome to you. I am your coach of the Arcanine Pokemon Club. That is Arcanine PC for short, in the NBA, and we are officially in the playoffs, baby. Officially in the playoff semi-finals, dude. The farthest I have ever made it in a draft league before. We're in the playoff semis, and we've officially made top 4, and we're going up against Sweets, aka MT105, this week in the NBA playoffs. Hopefully, we're able to pick up that dubski, move on to finals. Like, I figure while I'm here, might as well win this whole damn thing while I'm at it. You know what I'm saying? It didn't work out too well for us in the DAPL, but hopefully we can pick that up around this time around instead. We'll go ahead and break down Sweets' team, all that cool stuff. The Pokemon they could possibly bring, as well as the Pokemon I'm bringing, the movesets I got, all that cool stuff. So hopefully you guys are excited to see that. But if you are really enjoying this Draft League content, I'd really appreciate if you could leave a like on the video. Click that thumbs up button, it helps me out a ton. And definitely subscribe if y'all are new around here, and especially if you're enjoying the Draft League content. It lets me know that you are, and maybe that means I want to keep doing this, because I'm having a lot of fun with this, and they seem like they get pretty good views. So hopefully y'all are having a good time with this just as much as I am, because I've been loving doing draft content. It's been so fun, and I might just have a league around the corner as well. So hint hint. But yeah, let's go ahead and break down Sweets' team. We'll talk about it, talk about my movesets, and go from there. So Sweets' team is going to be Mega Lopunny, Latios, Corviknight, Clefable, Thundurus, which is one of their Terra captains, Milotic, Hisuian Arcanine, Rhyperior, which is their other Terra captain, and Mach. So that is going to be Sweets' team. They got a very solid Fairy Dragon Steel Core in the Latios, Corviknight, and Clef. A very phenomenal bulky water Milotic. Y'all know it's one of my favorite Pokemon of all time for a reason. It does not die. Mega Lopunny is a very solid Mega. It hits stupid hard and is insanely fast. And Assault Vest Muck, don't sleep. Don't sleep on Assault Vest Muck. The thing's bulkier than you think it is. Sweets is a very good team. There's a reason why they've made the top 4 as well. But hopefully we can bring our best 6 this week to take them out and move on to the finals. Let's go ahead and start breaking down our team, seeing who we're bringing, why we're bringing it, all their movesets, that cool stuff. Starting, of course, where else would we possibly start, with the team captain, Lucina the Sneasler, holding the Black Sludge this week with Poison Touch. And the moves Swords Dance, U-Turn, Close Combat, and Poison Jab. So looking at their team this week, I'm actually going to be doing something a little bit interesting that we haven't really done at all this season, that you guys will see when we get to Linhart. But I'm actually going to be running dual screens. So dual screens into Sweets' team is pretty good. It gives my bulky Pokemon more bulk, and it gives my setup Pokemon more chances to set up. Lucina is not known for being very bulky. She's a little bit of a frail girl. But don't let that frailness fool you. She'll also smack the hell out of you next away to Timbuktu. So, point taken. Anyway, but this does give her a chance to maybe live a hit from something. So that way we can kind of get off some big damage while also taking advantage of our speed tiers and everything. We can maybe get off a free Storedness to double our attack, which is kind of what I'm hoping for. U-Turn is there for momentum. So if we get off a big hit on something like the Corviknight as it comes in, and we can freely U-turn out to keep up that momentum, that'd be awesome. Close Combat does really good damage to the Hisuian Arcanine, the Rhyperior before it Terras. I don't know why they would ever switch in their Mega Lopunny on a Sneasler, but it does do good damage to that too. Poison Jab also bodies Clefable, especially at +2. Even if he's unaware, I don't think he lives 2 of these, especially with the chance for Poison Touch. Doesn't seem like there's a universe that exists. Basically, Sneasler is just kind of here to rip through a lot of his more bulky offensive or bulky defensive mons, and then leave holes in the late game for other Pokemon to come later to kind of clean up a little bit. And then, like I said, Poison Touch gives us that 30% chance to poison, all that cool stuff, which is very, very nice. Coupled with Poison Jab and all that. We're rocking the max attack this week with a Jowling Nature, 184 speed and 72 HP. The only thing that is faster on his team than us is the Mega Lopunny. We guarantee outspeed the rest of his squad, which is very, very nice for us. Because I believe we sped crept the Thundurus this week, I want to say, which I believe hits a 111 speed. So that way we were able to guarantee outspeed that and everything. Or it's base 111, excuse me. So I think with 184 speed, we guarantee outspeed that, which is good for us. So yeah, that's going to be Lucina this week. Trying to hit some things stupid hard and get the heck out. That kind of thing. Next up, we got Rhea the Kyurem holding the Choice Scarf with Pressure and the moves Freeze Dry, Earth Power, Draco Meteor, and Ice Beam. I just realized this is a mild-natured Kyurem. Why am I running mild nature on my Kyurem? I think that is an accident. I'm supposed to be a modest nature. There we go. That's much better. I don't want to be lowering my my defenses there. All right, we're supposed to be running a modest nature on Kyurem this week. with the moves Freeze Dry, Earth Power, Draco Meteor, and Ice Beam. Rocking the max special attack this week, so we're hitting as hard as possible with all of our moves. Choice Scarf with 271 speed total should allow us to outspeed the majority of Sweets' team, if not all of them, because I believe with the Choice Scarf we actually do outspeed the Mega Lopunny in this case, which is very good for us. So we can get off a big hit on that thing and that kind of stuff. Freeze Dry is there to do good damage to something like the Milotic as well as the Thundurus before it tears. Earth Power does good damage to the Hisuian Arcanine and the Rhyperior before it tears, as well as the Muk. Draco is there for Latios, and we got Ice Beam just to do general solid damage to basically everything. So that's gonna be Ray this week. Max special attack modus, 180 speed, and a little bit HP, just like Sneasler, like I said. Because again, we are running that dual screen, so nice and a little bit of bulk is kind of nice to go a little bit of a long way. Next up is Catherine, our Mega Manectric, holding the Manectite with Lightning Rod, and the moves Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Toxic Thunder Wave. I think this is the first time I brought Manectric this season where it did not have Flamethrower, and just running Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Toxic Flamethrower on it. Because honestly, Flamethrower doesn't really do much for me in this battle. Like, it hits the Corviknight, but so does Volt Switch and Thunderbolt. So, like, what was the point of bringing Flamethrower? Unless they're like Terra, Grass, Thundurus. Does that thing get Trailblaze? I actually have no idea. That could be kind of heat. Yeah, unless they're like Terra Grass on Thundurus or Rhyperior, I just don't see why I really would need Flamethrower this week, especially when, like, I just really want this thing for momentum. Like, Volt Switch and Thunderbolt's really nice because they're not the Therian Thundurus. So because they're not Thundurus Therian, they don't have Volt Absorb, so we can just freely switch around. Especially if they don't bring Rhyperior. My Volt Switches are just free, which is very, very nice. Then we got Toxic spread a little bit of poison around. Thunder Wave spread a little bit of paralysis around. Max special attack, max speed on this thing. We do speed tie with the Mega Lopunny, which is not fun, but we can also get an Intimidate off on it to make sure it can't do as much damage to us as it otherwise could, which can be pretty helpful, especially if it leads with it and they go for like the fake out shenanigans and everything. I can immediately get my Mega Evolution off, get an Intimidate off, all that cool jazz. So that could be in our favor. So we'll see how that ends up going. Like I said, max special attack and max speed with a nice and solid timid nature this week. So that's going to be Catherine. Next up is Sita, our Moltres, holding the heavy-duty boots with Flame Body and the moves Roost, Defog, U-Turn, Flamethrower. Roost is there, like I said, to heal ourselves. Defog to get rid of opposing hazards. U-Turn to keep momentum into his team because something like the Arcanine comes in on this basically for free. And then the same thing as well as the Rhyperior also kind of comes in on this for free. And then Flamethrower does good damage to Corviknight. We can also freely U-Turn out on that. Basically just trying to keep hazards off my side of the field. Keep up momentum, heal myself, and get off some good Flamethrower damage. This is a good little check to something like a Muk. If they are like Poison Jab AV Muk, I can maybe get a Flame Body burn off on them. If they run something like D-Dance Latios, that could be pretty helpful as well. Not so much for the Hisuian Arcanine or the Rhyperior, just because they both have Rock-type coverage, which could be a little unfortunate. But that's actually going to be why we're bringing our next Pokemon, who you guys will see in a second. And then, like I said, we're rocking the max special attack, or max HP, max defense on this thing, trying to be as physically bulky as possible. We're also bringing Frederick this week, the Ting Lu, to eat up a couple of physical hits, mainly from the Rhyperior and Hisuian Arcanine. But its primarily role this week is to be a especially defensive monster. Max HP, max def on this thing. Frederick is going to be holding the leftovers with Vessel of Ruin to lower opposing special attacks even further. Stealth Rock, Whirlwind, Earthquake, Ruination does really, really good work into my opponent's team. Stealth Rocks are very nice for the Arcanine as well as the Thundurus if they're not running boots. It does good chip damage to the Latios, good chip damage to the Lopunny, all that cool stuff to help me pick up KOs later on in the game. Whirlwind to kind of keep the phasing going, keep the momentum up on my side of the field so the opponent does not have it. All that cool stuff. Earthquake does a solid number to the Arcanine. I'm assuming it just OHKOs it. I don't believe in a world where it doesn't. Then Ruination's there to like chunk down a lot of his bulkier mons like the Clefable, like the Corviknight, like the Milotic. Yes, they can heal themselves afterwards, but they also have to play that game of like, okay, now do I heal this turn, predicting a switch, or do I attack this turn, predicting a switch? But if I get Ruination, then they're going to get even lower and all that. So a little bit of mind game action that goes on. Ting Lu can take some physical hits, but like I said, its main role is going to be being a especially defensive monster, eating up hits from the Clefable, maybe the Latios, all of that cool stuff. But it can be a solid physically defensive threat as well. I also forgot we have Sita for Lopunny too. Like, Sita just switches in on Mega Lopunny, honestly, for free, because we get a 30% chance to Flame Body every single time. So it's very, very nice for us. And then we're rocking a Careful Nature to boost our Spadef even higher, while lowering our special attack, because we don't need it. Last but not least, I love this set so much. It is Linhardt the Slowking holding the Light Clay with Regenerator and the moves Reflect, Light Screen, Toxic, and Chilly Reception. Not a single attacking move to be found. Zero, zilch, nada. Not a single attacking move here to be found. We're rocking the max HP, max defense on this guy, being a little bit of a physically defensive threat for something like the Mega Lopunny or something like the Hisuian Arcanine. It's pretty nice. We threaten that out with the Scald that we clearly do not have. Same with the Rhyperior. We threaten that out with the Scald that we do not have. But I can get up my screens, dual Light Screen and Reflect with the Light Clay guaranteed being 8 turns is really, really nice for my bulky offensive team, being these 3 mainly. And then we've got a little bit of Toxic to spread around, a little bit of Poison if something like the Clefable wants to come in, or the Latios, or the Arcanine. Just whatever wants to come in, we can make sure we get off a nice little Toxic on that, sitting with the Lopunny. And then Chilly Reception allows me to kind of pivot around, get out of there if I need to, and bring in Kyurem with a little bit extra bulk. So that is kind of going to be the plan behind Linhardt this week. Get up screens, spread a little bit of poison, and get out. That's basically Linhardt's entire goal this week. So we'll see if we can make that come to fruition. Let me know what you guys think of the team down in the comments. I would really appreciate your thoughts. What do you like that I'm bringing? What do you kind of wish I would have done instead? What do you think of the team overall? And I hope you're going to be cheering on your Arcanine Pokemon Club, your Arcanine PC, in the semifinals of the NBA. We're going up against Sweets. I think it is time to go ahead and jump right into the battle. So I will see you guys in just a moment. Alright, we are back. We got all linked up with Sweets, had the battle, and we are here for a little post-commentary battle action. Looking at Sweets' team, they brought a lot of what I expected, but I'm really shocked there's no Mega Lopunny, honestly. I thought Mega Lopunny looked kind of pretty solid into my team, so I'm a little surprised I ended up not bringing that. It's kind of a very, very bulky team from what I'm seeing. It seems like it's like bulky plus Latios and Thundurus. So I'm assuming he's probably gonna have like Stealth Rocks to like spread around from the Rhyperior, a little bit of Muck action to probably get a little bit of poisons off, try and tank some special hits, all that cool stuff, and probably Wispash with Clefable. So it's a pretty solid team. He brought all 3 of the Fairy Dragon Steel Core, which I was a little bit nervous about. The Thundurus kind of scares me a bit too, depending on the moveset. But looking at their team, I should be faster than just about everything, so I don't really have a reason to not lead with my Sneasler. That's kind of a pretty free lead for me. As we see, I think a possible lead for him is probably either the Thundurus to maybe Volt Switch, maybe the Rhyperior to get up rocks, maybe the Corviknight to U-turn out. But I'm going to lead with my Sneasler here, as we see that they are actually going to end up leading the Rhyperior. And I cannot tell you guys how much I was worried, would this thing be a random Scarfed Rhyperior and I just lose my Sneasler turn 1? I was terrified that it was going to be. But I said, you know what? Seems unlikely. I'm just going to play it safe, go for a U-turn, and get the heck out. So I do. We see he's not Choice Scarf on the Rhyperior. Hooray. So we get that U-turn off, and we do get the Poison Touch first turn, which is very nice for me. 30% after all. So we get that U-turn off, and we swap right into Frederick here as he sets and goes for the high horsepower. What I like about having, what's it called on my team? Tapu Bulu, even though I've only brought it to 1 game this season, is the threat of Tapu Bulu. Because of the threat of Tapu Bulu, my opponents are forced to run high horsepower versus Earthquake, which is a little bit weaker and a little bit less accurate. So, just because I have it on my team, even if I've never even used it outside of week 1 where I lost with it, it's just nice to have on the team because it's the aura of it, the presence of it. You have to respect it because the week you don't bring high horsepower is the week it shows up and then your ground and type attacks are weakened. So I just one thing I wanted to point out. So you get the high horsepower off. It does do pretty good damage because I'm primarily special defensive, but we're able to get off a little bit of recovery there thanks to our what's it called? Leftovers. So overall, we did about 17% total, and looking at their team, Stealth Rocks are kind of just free for me right now, so I don't really have a reason to go for them, or no reason to not go for them. Same with Ruination. Ruination's kind of just free for me to click, so it comes down to which one I want to click more. You see he's going to take a lot more poison damage. Honestly, like, that interaction worked out a lot better for me than it did for him. As I see, I'm going to step my Stealth Rocks. He does bring in the Corviknight, so good play on his part. If he wants to defog his away immediately, that's fine. Whatever. But I get my lefties back. That's an extra little bit of help for me as he brings in the Manectric. As I bring in my Manectric on his defog, which is really good for me because now I get a free Mega Evolution. If he wants to go the Rhyperior, that's fine, but I don't really have a reason not to click Volt Switch here. So I will just end up going for that, as of course the Rhyperior does come in. But I get a nice little Intimidate off of that, kind of rendering it obsolete a little bit. Voltage doesn't work, but he's going to take a little bit of poison damage this turn. So overall, I'll say that's a net positive for me. Obviously, I'm not staying in here. I'm going to bring in Slowking and attempt to get up my dual screens. As we see, he's going to set up his Stealth Rocks here. He's taking more and more poison damage, which is great for me. He's going to swap out here into his Clefable. So, not really sure what his plan is there. Maybe to get off a Wish pass maybe over to the Rhyperior, which could be very helpful for him. But looking at the team, I'm like, well, I don't really have a reason not to just go ahead and just chili on out of here. Because I had a feeling he wouldn't want to stay in just due to, again, the threat of Scald, even if, like, I don't actually have it. Like, you probably don't want to stay in against the Slowking when you're 4 times weak to water moves. So I go for the chili here and bring in Sneasler kind of basically for free. I'm going to take Rocks damage, but I'm going to immediately heal that up thanks to the Black Sludge. And then Poison Jab is kind of just free into their team, but so is U-Turn. I think I end up going for the Yui right here. As we see, he goes for Protect, making a good play. I wanted the Poison Jab this turn so bad because I really thought they were going to over-predict. And Poison Jab would have been really huge for me because we see they actually end up staying in this turn as I go for the U-Turn. I was that close, y'all, to clicking Poison Jab. That freaking close. I kind of wish I would have done it, but overall, it's fine. It's whatever. I definitely wanted to, but I can just go Slowking for free here. If they want to teleport out or something, which is, I gotta give it credit to Sweets. That is a ballsy play. I can't even lie. That is a ballsy play. They bring in the Thunderous, and I'm like, uh-oh, I don't like that very much. So immediately, my play is Ting-Lu 1000%, because I know I can eat up special hits from this thing. As we see, he's not special. He is a bulk-up Thunderous, which I did not expect at all, because this thing does get Prankster, so it is guaranteed to get its bulk-up off first. And now I'm a little bit scared, I'm not gonna lie. But I'm at solid 90% thanks to my leftovers recovery. We see he's just going to U-turn out. That does so much damage! Like, I know I'm specially defensive, but still, man. That is insane how much damage that did. As he's going to bring in the Corviknight, which is a little bit annoying. He's going to get Worlded out, though, into the Muck. And honestly, looking at the team again, once again, Stealth Rocks are kind of just free for me. Because if I go for them, he's forced to defog his own Rock Slave. But I do end up going for a Ruination right here, just to get this thing chunked down. And then, like I mentioned before, Rocks are going to be free for me next turn. Because Corviknight clearly doesn't want to stay at 50% HP against my team, because that's just free fodder from Manectric at that point. So I'm going to heal up a tiny bit. We see he's not leftovers. He goes for the Roost, as I'm going to go ahead and just click the Stealth Rocks. Now if he wants those gone to help his Thunderous, which I believe if later on in the battle you guys will see he's actually Acrobatics. So I believe he was not running any item. I don't believe he was running an item on this thing. I think he was 0 item on the Thunderous. Which is pretty cool tech, not going to lie. But that also means he's going to be taking 25% every single time he swaps in. So I don't think he's going to want that to happen. I think he's going to want to try and preserve that Thunderous as often as possible. So I kind of know he's probably going to want to just U-turn these away, or defog these away, excuse me. But he's going to go ahead and do that as I'm going to click Ruination again, chunk him back down an extra little 50, might as well. And this is good for me because look at how much leftovers recovery I'm getting back. Like, I was at 47%, and now over the course of like 3 or 4 turns, I'm now at 72, which is huge for me. Like, another U-turn would have probably KO'd me, especially at +1, but now we guarantee live 1, that's not a crit. He's going to Roost again, and I'm like, well, get him back up, might as well. Might as well get those back up. I really want those rocks up on your side of the field, bud. And then, predicting the defog right here, my switch into Manectric is honestly just so free, dude. Like, it is actually just so free. Because there is no universe he can stay in on a Mega Manectric. Because, yeah, he'll probably live 1, but he shouldn't want to stay in and live 1. So I'm like, I'm going to pull a hard double into Slowking, predicting the Rhyperior to try and scare him off a little bit. As we do get that. And again, I know I don't have the water move. Like I said, it's the threat of the water move is the cool thing. It's the threat of the water move, right? We know he doesn't want to be taking that, but he sees he's going to swap out to the Clefable. As I'm going to reveal, I have dual screens. I'm going to reveal that I've got the dual screens. I'm going to get the Reflect up. He's going to get a little bit of HP back on his Clef and go for Wish. As I'm going to go for the Toxic and miss. Typical Kai missing his Toxics. Gotta love it. He's going to swap into the Rhyperior, which is fine by me. I'm going to go ahead and Toxic it again, but he's going to get healed back up to full thanks to the Wish right there. He then doubles back out into his Corviknight, trying to get rid of the screens, as I'm just going to Chilion out. And Manectric is free. Manectric is free. So I bring Manectric in right here. Obvious switch in is obvious, but I'm just going to go ahead, and I don't really have a reason not to click Volt Switch. Does do good damage right here to the Latios. The way he brought that in so quickly either makes me think it's specially defensive, which based on that damage, I don't believe it is, because 20% to a resisted Latios doesn't seem like a lot. So when we were playing this game immediately, I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure that Latios being played like it's Choice Scarf. I'm like 99% sure that Latios being played like it's Choice Scarf, so I'm going to keep that in my mind. I kind of had it in my mental, in the back of my mental right there, being like, alright, Lati, most likely Choice Scarf. But my swap in here is 1000% my Slowking. I don't really have a reason not to. I keep my Reflect up because I'm obviously Light Clay, and we see he's going to go for Flip Turn. 2% Slowking, you demon! And I'm going to go ahead and go for the Light Screen right here. No, I went for Toxic, and I missed again. Not that it mattered, because he is a Steel type and everything, but typical Kai missing Toxic. What can I say? Slowking needs to get a new pair of glasses. That's 2 Toxics so far this game that it's missed. So they bring in the Corviknight. They are free to just defog or go for U-turn or whatever they want to do. We see they're going to want to go for defog to get my screens gone, but like, Chilion to Manectric is free, but I actually go Moltres right here. Because I want to pressure them down with something different, and this also swaps what wants to come in on me. More than likely, we'll see either Muck or Clefable. But there shouldn't be a universe where he wants to stay in on me. As we see, he actually does bring in the Rhyperior anyway. As I go for Yui right here, get off a nice little U-10. And we see that Dirtman is taking more and more poison damage. He's going to go for Toxic on me. That's not very nice. But we do get the Reflect up, so we'll be taking less damage from this thing, which is super good for me. Here's this Rocks. I'm like, whatever, man. I'm chilling out of here. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. And then I'm just going to be like, hey, what's up? You might be wondering, Kai, why are you bringing in a Fire and Flying type against a Rock type? And you might be thinking to yourself, Kai, that's a bit of a stupid play. And honestly, you're kind of correct. You're kind of correct. That's not really something you'd probably want to do. But it was a bait. But it was a bait because I was trying to make them think, okay, maybe he'll go for defog right here or something, or maybe he misclicked. And I can just freely swap in my Ting-Lu, trying to figure out what that last move is, because if he's got the rock move, whether it's like a head smash or rock slide, stone edge, I want to try and bait it out. So I'm like, alright, that is fine. He's going to take more poison damage. I'm just going to Yui the heck out of here. And I'm going to go ahead and bring in my Ting-Lu, which was the perfect play, because we see his last move is Supercell Slam. That was not intentional. That was not. I had no idea it was Supercell. I just had a feeling he probably had a last move to hit my Moltres. But I figured it'd be, like I said, Rock Slide or Stone Edge or Head Smash, something along those lines. So, honestly got a little lucky there, maybe, but, like, honestly, sometimes it's better to be lucky than to be good. So we take those. So he's going to take a solid 50% because of the recoil there for missing. And then he's going to get a little bit of leftovers recovery. But due to the fact he is poisoned, he's going to go down to the poison. Good move alert. Fraud move alert. So true, guys. So true. That move's actually... Like, I want to like that move so bad, but it's just not it, Chief. It's just not. So he brings the Thunderous back, and I'm like, uh-oh. I don't really like that very much. He's going to bulk up. I think I end up going for the Ruination right here to get him chunked down. Because I do still have my Reflect up. I'll be able to eat up hits from this thing a little bit easier. And then I can just freely go for the Whirlwind right here to get rid of his +1/+2 stats. That way those are handled and taken care of. So you see he's going to go for the Acrobatics. Only does 29 thanks to the Reflect, which is good for me. So more than likely, based on that damage, he is 100% no item. Oh, he was Flying Gem. Wait, what? Is that allowed? Is Flying Gem allowed in this, actually? Like, wait. Is that? I didn't know that. I did not know that or notice that. Wait, that's heat. Yeah, it's allowed. It doesn't say anything about gems. That's allowed. Huh, interesting. I'll keep that in mind. So we see the Flying Gem's going to go off, so he is Flying Gem Acro. So that was his most powerful one, and that did 29%. So we're chilling, and my Whirlwind is just kind of free. As you're bringing the Muck, which is kind of what I want to be seeing at the moment. So looking at his team, kind of free to go for the Stealth Rocks right here. Otherwise, I can also just go for Ruination and get this thing chunked down a little bit. Oh, you see he's Drain Punch? Yum. I did 10%! Oh, Ting Lu the GOAT, dude. Frederick, you're insane. Ruination does a solid 50% to that thing, which is very nice for me. I still have my Reflect up. He's going to double out into the Clefable, as I'm going to go ahead and set my Stealth Rocks up, get those nice and ready, which is good for me because now his team's going to take more and more damage. And then go for the Wish right there, as I go ahead and Whirlwind out into his Corviknight. So right here, I'm thinking, I don't really want him to get the Wish off. Like, I don't particularly want that. Because I don't really want him to get his Thundurus healed up. I don't really want him to get his Muck healed up. So I'm thinking I could go for either Whirlwind here to Whirlwind out whatever he wants to switch in to get the Wish. Maybe thinking I'm going to go for Ruination on this thing because it's at 100%. Otherwise, I could go for Ruination, do a little bit of chip damage to that thing, and then its Wish won't heal it as much. Like, it'll still heal it for the same amount, but it'll be at a lower percent, if that makes sense. So it's a bit of 50-50 on my part. I wasn't too sure which way I wanted to go for it. And see, he's actually going to defog and get rid of all my stuff as I went for the Whirlwind, which is a bit of a misplay, but we do get the Clefable, which actually worked out really well for me. Because if they would have gotten something like the Muck or the Thundurus, that would have been a little bit bad, because he would have gotten the full effects of that Wish. In hindsight, I probably should have gone for the Ruination right there, but whatever, it's fine. It would have just healed up the Corviknight anyway. Honestly, a probably better play would have been to reset my Stealth Rocks, predicting the defog and stuff, because I didn't really lose anything by doing that. But if he brought in something else, it would have been a little bit of an L. So I think we end up... It wasn't the best play for us, but it wasn't the worst. We see he brings the Clefable back in. I'm going to get my HP back on my lefties and bring in my Mega Manectric. As we see, he is going to go ahead and try and get a Wish off on something. What I've noticed here, though, is... I don't know about you guys, but looking at Sweets' team, I don't notice a Ground type. I don't see a Ground type on their side of the field. Which is exactly what Mega Manectric likes to be seeing. Because now my Volt Switches and my T-Bolts are free. Completely free. So he can go for the Wish here. I'm just go ahead and get my Toxic off. So that thing is now on a timer. It does big damage to me. But now this thing's on a timer. We see it's unaware officially because it took that Toxic damage. And that is really nice for me. That is really nice for me. So now the Clefable's on a timer. I can get a Volt Switch off on that thing, do some good damage, and bring in my Slowking. So you see, he's going to try and get the Wish off again. We're both going to take a little bit of poison damage there. I'm going to set my Reflect as he's going to TP out right into his Muck, which, like, I'm not really scared about, but it's a Muck. I'm going to go ahead and just do my thing as he's going to bring this Corviknight trying to defog me out. Bye-bye! Manectric comes in for free. It's just the rule of the game. Manectric comes in for free now. And I have no reason not to click Volt Switch. Like, it's literally my play. I have no reason not to click Volt Switch now that the Ground type is gone. I do T-Bolt once just for damage in case he tried to be super ballsy and stayed in. But now Volt Switch does get a crit right here and score some big damage off on old Greg right here. Taking him nice and low to only 40%. And again, I could just freely bring in like Ting Lu or Slowking here because they're both Fizz Def. Or in Slowking's case, it's Fizz Def, and Ting Lu is just insanely bulky with Reflect Up. Like, look at that, at 4% from a Muck. Oh, Ting Lu, you're insane. As we see, that does nothing. I actually get more HP back because of the leftovers right there. And now I can just freely set up my Stealth Rocks. Like, yeah, he can defog them away next turn. But, like, if he wants to do that, that's fine. Because guess who gets to come out for free? Oh, hey, Manectric. How you doing, buddy? Look at that. There's a defog. And now my play is 100% to click Volt Switch. As we see, he's going to swap in the Latios right here. I get a T-Bolt off. And again, I'm still under the impression this thing is being played like it's Choice Scarf. So I'm like, whatever, that's fine. I'm just going to bring in Slowking right here and see what he wants to do. He's going to Draco and miss. Kind of blows for him, but we take those. Actually kind of really sucks for him. As he's going to end up bringing in his Corviknight right here. I'm like, well, I know Slowking lives 1, so I'm just going to get my Light Screen up. And then he's going to clearly defog right here. So what reason do I have to not click Chilly Reception and bring in Manectric? Dude, like, this Pokemon, I hope. I said this last video as well. But I really hope I made some believers out of Mega Manectric this season. Because this Pokemon, if given the right options, just goes stupid. Like, this Pokemon's so good. 135 special attack, 135 speed. Yes, you can talk until the cows come home about how it does one thing. It does that one thing so goddamn well. And I hope people realize that. Because this Pokemon is so underrated, IMO. I would draft this thing every season for the rest of my Draft League career. 1,000,000%. I love Mega Manectric. Like I said, though, it's kind of just a free little Volt Switch right here. Because now this thing is getting even lower, too. Thunderbolt does good damage. He gets down to the Toxic right here. And now I just freely KO that thing with Thunderbolt. So the Clefable is gone, and my Volt Switches are even more free because his specially defensive Pokemon is now gone. Like, it's just been chunked down completely. Here comes the Latios, I'm sure, as, again, we're like 99% sure now that this thing is Choice Scarf. I cannot let Manectric die. I need this thing for Corviknight. I need this thing for Thundurus. I need to have Manectric around. So I'm like, Ting-Lu, you're max Spadef. Take a hit, buddy. Take a hit. You see, he makes a great play and goes for Flip Turn. There was not a universe, there was no universe right there where I was going to stay in and click Volt Switch. I'm not that ballsy. I'm not that ballsy especially when, like, Sweets knows I need my Manectric. That was just a great play on their part. Great play. That's all I can say. Great play. They're going to bring in the Thundurus, so they're bringing in my Ting-Lu. And they are going to actually Terraflying right here and go for the Acro. We actually live it. It only does 42%. I get my Rocks up here. And I thought about swapping into my Fizdef Slowking. But I was like, I don't know. I don't know. Because I think Slowking is more useful than Ting-Lu at this point. Like, yeah, Ting-Lu is nice for taking a Latios hit, but they also have Slowking for that. Whereas, like, getting rid of this thing opens up Manectric so well, especially now it is no longer is neutral to my electric type attacks. It now takes super effective damage from my electric attacks because of the Terraflying on it. So I'm like, I think it's time to let Ting-Lu go. He goes for the Acro, does do 42%. And hey, we also got Kyurem right here, though. Did anybody forget about Kyurem? Yeah, my team's kind of good. Kyurem hasn't even hit the field yet. Ice Beam is kind of free into their team. And I'm going to go for Freeze Dry. I'm not sure why I did that when Ice Beam is stronger, but live and learn. Kyurem picks up the kill on the Uncharted 3, the Thundurus here, as the Latios is going to come back in. And I was like, okay, truthfully, I don't really need Kyurem. I don't. And that's kind of what my intention was. I didn't want Manectric to accidentally maybe take some more damage, especially if for some stupid reason Thunderbolt didn't KO. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to send in Manectric, or send in Kyurem. I can KO the Thundurus here because it's on Choice Scarf. I'll guarantee destroy it. And then I can swap in, if he brings in Latios, I can confirm if it's Choice Scarf because I also am. So I get a Freeze Dry off. He again is playing it like it's Choice Scarf because he brought this in on the Kyurem. So I'm just going to assume he is. And we do get the confirmation. He gets the Draco off. He is Choice Scarfed. We've got that confirmation, so now we can play around it. I was already 99% sure, but it's going to be 100% sometimes. And speaking of playing around it, hey Manectric, how you doing, buddy? He's going to bring in old Greg right here as I'm going to go ahead and click the Toxic, which he's immune to. I really wanted to get this thing on a timer because it would be nice to be able to just wear it down more and more with Slowking plus Switch-ins because I get my regen each time. It can't click locked into Draco and stuff, so we would have been fine right there. But I can just go for Volt Switch right here. It does a solid 28%, and I'm going to bring in my Slowking right now. He's going to go for Drain Punch. It doesn't do anything to me. He's going to get a little bit of HP back, which is fine. I can just go ahead and either Chili or get up a Reflect. As we see, I'm going to go ahead and go for the Light Screen because of the Latios. Latios is the main threat left, and it's important to me to make sure I have that Light Screen up for it just to make sure we take a little bit less damage. If he wants to defog, so be it. That is fine by me. I can just Chili out right here, and I'm sure y'all already know who's coming in. Yay, if you guessed Manectric, you get a cookie. Alright, so again, this Pokemon's just kind of free. He's going to sack old Greg right here, and I know he's gonna. I'm just going to Volt Switch, keeping my momentum. And I'm just going to go ahead and bring in my Slowking again. Like, I don't really have a reason not to. I really don't have a reason not to. He's going to bring in the Lottie and go for the Flip Turn. Good play on his part because I think I do go for Toxic right here. I wanted to click Light Screen, but I think going for Toxic was better. And I actually do go into a point for Toxic. So in the long run, I think Light Screen would have been better. But Toxic also would have been good to get this thing guaranteed on a timer. So a little bit of misplay on my part, but whatevs. So he's gonna, I'm gonna go ahead and bring my Moltres back in, as he's gonna U-turn out, making a good play. I actually get the Flame Body off of him, 30%, baby! He's gonna bring in Ephraim here, and I guarantee live 1, because my Moltres is bulky as hell. Even if I'm not Spadef, I'm still insanely bulky. So he does a solid 78% to me, but he's also lowering his special attack right now with Draco, and I can just go ahead and freely U-turn out on this guy, do big damage. And if I can have Stealth Rocks up, this thing would be guaranteed dead, but unfortunately Ting-Lu is gone, which kind of blows for me. It still could be a little bit dicey depending on Corviknight stuff, But for the most part, it's looking like a GG at the moment. Because I think my play right here is to just go for Chili. I think my play right here is 1000% just to click Chili. No, I do Light Screen, and then I think I Chili this turn, just so I guarantee get my Manectric in. He's going to defog away my Light Screen, which is to be expected. I Chili on out, make sure I'm back at full HP with my Slowking. Mega Manectric comes in. And the Thunderbolt is kind of just free right here. I do Volt Switch just to get him down nice and low. Bring in my Moltres to kind of just sack it. He's going to U-turn out. That is fine by me. That means his switch-ins are no longer existent. And if I can get the... if he went for Flip Turn right there and I got the burn, that would have officially been game. But he actually goes for the Luster Purge. He makes a good call right here. And I'm like, well, Slowking, hello. Hi, bud. We see he's going to bring the Corvi back in. I'm going to go ahead and click the Toxic, which isn't going to work because he's burned on the Lancelot right there. He's going to Roost on up, but that doesn't matter because I just Chili out the Manectric 1,000,000% of the time. Get my Chili off. Manectric comes in. Hey, buddy. How's it going? I can click Thunderbolt now for free, and the Corviknight guaranteed dies, which is very, very good for me. So now, he brings in the Latios here. He has to Luster Purge, and he only has, I think... Oh, he's 7 left, so that's a lot, actually. But we see he's going to go for that into Sneasler, which does, unfortunately, kill me. Sneasler, thank you for your service. You didn't really do anything this week, but your presence. You got the Poison Touch off, so we'll take that. We'll take that. But now we can kind of just bring Slowking back in, and if we land a Toxic, we win the game. That's all it comes down to. If we land a Toxic, we win the game. As we see, he's going to go for the Luster Purge. And does a solid 20%. So with Toxic, it is going to rack up a little bit. As you see, I used all my Chili receptions right there. I have none left. So I counted those out perfectly. You see, all I have to do is hit a Toxic and I win. That's literally all it is. 3 missed Toxic, Slowking. Do we have a discussion? Do I need to get you fitted for a new pair of Oakleys, buddy? Because like 3 Toxic misses in one game, bud, we might need to have a discussion. We might need to have a discussion. 3 is a bit much, bud. 3 is a bit much. If I would have missed another Toxic, I would have lost the game. I would lose the game if I missed another Toxic right here. He goes for Luster Purge. He gets a crit. So 1000%. If I don't hit this Toxic, I lose. I lose. That's plain and simple. I lose. But we see I do hit the Toxic this time. Thankfully. I would have been livid if I would have lost the game to that. I would have been actually livid. But we do pick up the Dubski. Your Arcanine Pokemon Club, your Arcanine PC are going to the finals, baby, of the NBA. We are going on to the finals. My first Draft League finals ever. I'm very excited. Like I said earlier at the beginning of the video, we made it as far as we have ever gone before. But while we're here, we might as well win the whole damn thing. So I hope you will be cheering on your Arcanine Pokemon Club next week in the grand finals of the NBA. I really appreciate all the love and support in the Draft League content. It means a lot to me. Definitely leave a like on the video if y'all are new. It helps me out a ton. Definitely subscribe if y'all are new around here. Like I mentioned, we're on our way to 600 subscribers, and I would really appreciate if you can help me hit that. Like I said, too, it helps me know that y'all really like the Draft League content. I'm having fun making it, so hopefully you guys are having fun watching it. All that stuff. I really appreciate it. It would help me out a ton. All that cool stuff. I'm just going to chill out a little bit here. It's fine. Excuse me. But I'm super hyped to be here in the finals, so hopefully we can bring home that trophy. Bring home my first ever Draft League victory. So we'll see. We'll see how that ends up going for us. But that we'll have to wait until next Saturday. So hopefully you guys will be back for the finals of the NBA season. Your Arcanine Pokemon Club, your Arcanine PC are going to bring home the trophy, baby. We're bringing home the cup. That's what we like to see. Thank you guys so much for checking out the battle. I really appreciate it so much. Y'all are wonderful. I'll see y'all back here next week for grand finals. Until then, though, I'm going to leave y'all with this. Peace.